Good afternoon. My name is Simeon Williams. I will be presenting this presentation on conflict delegation and creating a healthy workplace. First, I would be explaining the conflict management strategies. The first is compromising, where you have two parties who are in either a win-win or a lose-lose situation. Both are out to gain something from the other. So if both parties don't win, they lose. If both parties wins, they think they gain more than the other. However, each side is giving something away. The next is competing, which is one party kind of works at any cost to gain whatever they need to gain, no matter what it means to take from the other party. Cooperating and accommodating. One party will kind of give up their values and give and give and give in order to make whatever project successful. However, they in the end they tend to expect some sort of like compensation or reward for doing what they're doing. Then you have smoothing, which in a situation where if a manager to an employee, if there was a minor conflict, they would try to soothe it over by maybe like downplaying the problem or offering some sort of incentive just to make the small problem go away. And this generally is only applied to smaller conflicts, and also is not very successful most times. The next strategy is avoiding, where you may have two parties who are aware of a problem. However, it's usually involving people who are low self-esteem, do not like confrontation, or are in a weaker power position. They're aware of the situation but just continue to avoid it. Collaborating is the win-win strategy, where you have two parties who are willing to compromise to work together in order to come together on a project to make it work. The conflict I am presenting just simply involves employee A who is a female who likes to wear trousers to work, and then you have female employee B who is Muslim, who believes those trousers are inappropriate for work. And the management strategy used in this situation would be avoidance. However, the two employees would use avoidance strategy because the issue is minor and also does not interfere at work, but there is that conflict there, and that's just how they deal with it. Delegation. So task delegation. So you will have a situation. So in this situation, a communication manager in a company needs to communicate a new policy to employees. Next would be the task. Create and distribute a memo to communicate the said policy change. The action taking place would be to the manager asking the manager's secretary to create a memo and send it back. And the result would be creation of a high quality memo by an expert before the manager sends it. Next, you have the 5 rights of delegation. So the right task, so in the scenario I presented, the right task would be specifically creating the memo. That's the task that's being presented. Right circumstance, the manager has another person who can create the task. The right person would be the secretary who has the skills to create the memo. Right direction / communication, the memo would consist of all the policy changes. That's kind of the instructions for the task. And the right level of supervision, the person at the top who would guide the project. The secretary is a subordinate of the communication manager. So strategies for successful delegation, and in this scenario, identifying necessary skills and education levels to complete the delegated task. In this scenario, it was applied. The secretary had the skills to create the memo. Planning ahead also was applied. Assisting the manager is the secretary's job within her job description. Select and empower capable personnel was applied to this scenario. The secretary was chosen and given a list of policy changes. Next would be to set deadlines and monitor progress. In this scenario, it was not applied. The secretary could have submitted the memo earlier. There were no specific deadlines presented in this scenario. Empower and delegate was applied. The delegate had all required materials to create the memo. Communicating goals clearly, this was applied. The secretary was informed on what was required of her, which was the memo. Monitor the role and provide guidance, which was not applied. This would have minimized any chances of error. However, in this scenario, the secretary is able to complete the task without supervision. Next would be to evaluate performance. It's not applied, but it would have had analyzed the quality of the memo and would have been able to offer suggestions and critique. Finally, there is reward accomplishment, which is applied. In the end, the manager would have thanked the secretary for a job well done. Common delegation errors consist of three delegation errors, which would be under delegating, having a team member who is able to complete tasks but not giving them the task to complete, or not enough of the task when they are completely capable of doing them. Over delegating, a team member who would be able to take on tasks, but giving them too many tasks that they are not able to complete. And then improper delegating, this involves giving tasks to an outside team member, tasks that are outside a team member's skill set. So, creating a healthy workspace, defined as providing tangible, mental, social, logical, and institutional circumstances that safeguard and encourage wellness, security for all employees. A healthy work environment is one in which everybody collaborates to reach a mutual goal for the health and well-being of employees and society at large. And finally, the components of a healthy workspace would include skilled communication, authentic leadership, meaningful recognition, appropriate staffing, effective decision making, and true collaboration. So in my current work environment, I work in the ICU. My job does provide tangible, mental, sociological, and institutional circumstances that do encourage wellness and security for me. It is a high stress environment, but there are departments in place for helping adjust stress, and team members available to help in stressful situations and answer questions. And in my work environment, although stressful, I would consider a safe work environment. And finally, how effective leaders create healthy work environments would involve effective communication, motivation, which also would include positivity, encouraging patients, incentives, constructive criticism, creativity, finding ways to help employees enjoy their work or understand ways to alleviate stress, and also, most importantly, feedback, communication with employees, understanding their needs and their concerns, strengths and weaknesses to create a stronger, healthier workspace. Thank you.